Hey guys, what's going on? I wanted to talk today about Mill Creek, the company that puts out these massive bricks of DVDs. You get like 50 movies in a pack. They come in like paper sleeves. I've been seeing a lot of criticism about Mill Creek lately, and I don't really understand it. This is a company that I love, and so this is kind of going to be a defense of Mill Creek and why I think that they're doing a really good job with a valuable service. So we will get to that in 7 seconds. These big sets of movies, like I think everybody, if they don't have these, like if you're not a physical media collector and you don't have one of these sets, you've at least seen them and you've thought about it. You've probably picked one up and turned it over and looked on the back and you're like, well, that's a lot of movies. And they're, these sets are like, dirt cheap. Like they used to be $20, but now, I saw one at Walmart not long ago and it was like $8.96 for 50 movies. And the thing is about this, like what you're getting is you're getting quantity over quality, obviously. You haven't heard of all of these movies. Here's the thing. You're going to get some movies that you've heard of. You're going to get some movies that are decent. But those movies are not going to be premier quality. They're not going to be the best quality that's available on the market. It's a trade-off. You're getting quantity over quality. I should also say, like, they've come a long way. And one of the things that I want to do is brag on Mill Creek for how far they've come. And I should also point out that I've never gotten a dime from Mill Creek or any of these videos to date. Like I haven't made a penny off of anything that I do here. I'm not sponsored by Mill Creek. I actually would love to be because I buy a ton of their stuff and I would love to review their stuff for them and help promote them, but I don't. Like that's not happening. So this is just my opinion. So take it for what it is, but I haven't been bought. The thing is, like, these prints that they get on these sets, like, you'll probably, if you're old enough to have watched movies on TV, like, not on cable, but, like, on public access or, like, one of the syndicated channels, you've probably seen these things late at night. Like, they're TV quality prints. I think that's where they get a lot of this stuff from. I also have a martial arts set. This has some Fred Williamson movies on here, the Black Cobra trilogy. Awesome stuff. A Wing Wang movie. Wing Wang. Look up Wing Wang. Like, it was a little person who was. You guys, okay. But this is where they came from. This is where Mill Creek came from, and these sets are still. I'm not sure. I think that these sets still make up their, like, the bulk of their business model because they're still everywhere. I'm seriously thinking about they have a combat set. I'm seriously thinking about picking that up because it's got some World War II movies on there that I'd like to see. But the thing about this is you expose yourself to more content. So let me put these down. So I picked up this set. This is the Drive-In Cult Classics set. It's 32 movies. Now, what this is that Mill Creek has named this to appeal to the widest demographic that they can. This is the Crown International set. Every movie on here comes from the Crown International library. Crown International was a 70s, well, longer than that, but they were an exploitation studio at their height in the 70s, maybe early 80s. Drive-in movies, lots of like revenge, just cult exploitation movies, like violent, like just that gritty drive-in. The kind of stuff from Grindhouse. Like, if you've seen Grindhouse, like, Crown International, man. But for the first time, I saw Trip with the Teacher on this set, and I saw The Pickup on this set. And those movies have since been released on these, like, elaborate special editions from a company called Vinegar Syndrome. And I have those. Those are Blu-rays. They're nice. They have, like, interviews with the cast. But the prints, especially Trip with Teacher, the print that I saw on here is widescreen. It's taken from a theatrical print, probably a drive-in theater. It looks dirty. It's got like the cigarette burns in the corner, like the boop. Like if you've seen Fight Club, you know all about the cigarette burns in the corners. Like it's got all of that stuff. It's got a moment in the film where it kind of like it looks like it's about to just like burn up, but then it gets okay. like the film is like eroding, and then it's like whoop, and then it comes back to normal. Like, I love that, and it's just the character of a really old print. So while I have Trip with Teacher on Blu-ray, this is probably my go-to print for this. So again, Mill Creek meeting a demand for movies that you can't just go. It's 32 Crown International movies. They're not all good. Most of them are not good, but they are what they are. They're exploitation movies, and they're going to meet a certain audience's demand. For instance, they have put out the very horribly misnamed Girls, Guns, and G-Strings collection. Now, what a terrible name for a set, because this is appealing to like college-age dudes, I guess. But what this is the films of Andy Sedaris. It's 12 movies. So we've got Hard Ticket to Hawaii on here. We've got, what's the other fantastic one? Malibu Express. Oh, freaking Malibu Express. These are action movies from the VHS era that never found a home. In some cases, this is the only DVD release for these. In fact, I think maybe for every single one of these, at least in America, this is the only way that you can see these movies. They're meeting a demand, and here's the important thing. Nobody else is wanting to put these things out. If Mill Creek has put them out, it's because they saw a demand in the market. They saw an opportunity, and they put it out. Movies, now, you know, just on that note, let me go back. The Drive-In Cult Classics, a lot of people probably have that set, but I also have this, which is their deluxe, what is this called? The Drive-In Cult Cinema Collection. This bad boy is 200 movies. And, you know, the thing about Mill Creek, like we were talking about, is like sometimes the quality is not the best, but their Crown International stuff's all widescreen, or mostly widescreen. Totally watchable. You get the original aspect ratio. It's anamorphic when it can be presented anamorphically. But they have moved up. Like, their next step from the big sets is they started putting out TV shows. Now, this is the Cosby Show. Like, we all know, I'm not going to get into Bill Cosby. But they started moving into TV sets, and they started releasing all these shows that there was a market for. Because, like, Cosby Show came out in the early 2000s on DVD, and then it went out of print. And those discs were going for too much money, like a lot of money. And so Mill Creek's like, well, here's an opportunity to re-release something that there's demand for. They go to these companies and they say, hey, you're not going to put this out on DVD again, because these are the late days of physical media. You know, physical media is dying. We've all heard it. We'll put this out for you. We'll cut a deal with you. We'll distribute this content for you. You don't have to distribute it. You license it to us. We'll put it out. And so that's what they do. And we get the whole complete Cosby Show for, I don't know, like $30. I got this a lot cheaper than that from their site when they were having a sale a couple of years ago. Okay, so another criticism is the paper sleeves. So we've got paper sleeves. I actually am totally fine with the paper sleeves, but people criticize the paper sleeves, so they have gone to this model. So this is the Cosby Show. You get like this, it's a different form of a paper sleeve, but you got like this thing on one side, you got another disc on the other side, you have the episodes on the disc. I'm not crazy about this packaging. I understand it. It works. Like, it does essentially, you know, it keeps the disc from getting scratched. It may get a little, whoop, I dropped it. It may get a little dusty, but I mean, it keeps the disc safe. This is practical. This is what helps them keep costs low and get the savings straight to the consumer. So you could pick up a whole TV show for $20 or $30. I have much more expensive DVD sets that have worse packaging than this. For instance, the Lost in Space Blu-ray set. You know, they did this massive restoration for Lost in Space where they remastered every episode. There's all these new extras on there. And then the discs are in this stupid, like, paper contraption. It's like an accordion. Like, it's like all these I should have brought it up here so I could have showed you. It's like this folded piece of paper with little grooves in it, little slots in them. And as you're trying to get the disc out, like, first of all, they're way up in there and they're hard to get out. And as you're trying to get the disc out, there's other discs that are falling out of the set. And that thing was a lot more than $30, let me tell you. So, you know, they do what they do to keep costs low. And you can complain about it, but they're filling a demand. But then they also do Blu-rays. And the Blu-rays have really become what I love about Mill Creek, because they're putting out stuff like, I got the Legend of Billie Jean, I got the Wild One with Marlon Brando, I got this Van Damme collection that now it's got 5 movies, that's 2 discs. So you got 3 movies on one disc, 2 movies on another one, so there's not a ton of compression. They don't put extras on their stuff, so it's not getting the bit rate is relatively high for what it is, because there's not. Hey, for a while they didn't even put subtitles. They finally started putting subtitles on their releases, and I know that was a big problem for some people. But there are movies on this set, like I think Double Team. If you want Double Team on Blu-ray, this is the only way that you're going to get it. It's only on this set. The biggest part of my Mill Creek collection is their TV on DVD, TV on Blu-ray sets. Like, I love the TV on DVD, but their Blu-rays, I think they've put out 5 maybe. Anyway, so they are the company that has put out Nightrider on Blu-ray, and it's all 4 seasons. They've done this thing where no paper sleeves or anything. They stack discs. So like you've got a disc here and then you've got a disc underneath. Haven't had any problems so far. I take that back. I did have a problem on their set of that 70s show. I have one disc that has a circular scratch in it, and it skips about 30 seconds on the episode. One episode skips about 30 seconds. Haven't tried it on any other Blu-ray players. I tried it on one player, and I had the problem, and I was like, I didn't even care enough about it to write the company or to try to get it replaced. I probably could have gotten it replaced. The stacking discs thing is something that everybody's doing now, and I don't love it, but everybody's doing it. You buy these complete sets of shows like King of Queens or whatever, and they're just like 40 discs like stacked on top of each other like an old school CD spindle. But it's hard to complain for what they're charging for some of these things. I got the complete Quantum Leap. Like, if you want Quantum Leap on Blu-ray, you have to go to Mill Creek. And the quality, again, like, it's as good as it's better than streaming. It looks better than it would if you streamed it on Netflix. And then lastly, I have the complete Airwolf. And here's the thing, like, there's no other company putting out Airwolf or Quantum Leap. Like, people, I go online and I see complaints like, Mill Creek ruined this DVD, or they ruined this Blu-ray, they ruined this TV show by putting 6 episodes on one Blu-ray. Should have just been 4. I'm like, well, nobody else was going to put it out. This is what we have. You know, maybe it'd be great if Universal released, like a 30 disc set of this show or something like that. And it's like massive, compression is just not an issue, but they're not going to. Here's a fact. I'm still waiting on A-Team on Blu-ray and Magnum PI on Blu-ray. Both of those shows have Blu-rays in the UK and in Europe. But the market in America, apparently, is just not there to support it. And that's frustrating. The market for Nightrider, like, I've bought Nightrider multiple times to support the release, a physical release, because I wanted a high-definition Nightrider. And Mill Creek was the company that stepped up to put out Nightrider. So we have to remember that while we complain about these things, like, Mill Creek is going to do a relatively no-frills presentation. Right? So, like, if you want Miami Vice, this is a no-frills presentation. There are no extras. There are no commentaries. You get 5.1 surround, and you get the original music, which is a big deal because the DVDs didn't have the original music most of the time. So, it's no frills, but it's the show that you remember, and probably, if you're buying it, it's the show that you love. And they're the company that has chosen to do it. Nobody else. Listen, Shout Factory, they didn't put out Miami Vice. If they wanted to, they could have done it. All Shout Factory had to do was go to, I think it's Universal, and say, hey, let's license Miami Vice. We can do this big set. We can produce new extras for it. But they didn't do it. Mill Creek did. Mill Creek is meeting a demand for a certain kind of audience. And their stuff is so cheap most of the time. There's a new TV series of SWAT. Like, SWAT was a 70s show from 75 to 76. And there's the movie with Samuel L. Jackson and Colin Farrell. And there's a new series on CBS, maybe. So you'd think that somebody would be eager to put out the original SWAT TV series to cash in on the new SWAT series. Well, Mill Creek is that company. And there were 2 seasons of SWAT from 75 to 76. The original company put out a DVD set of the first season, so half the series, and I guess it didn't sell very well, so there was never a season 2. Well, Mill Creek is putting out the complete series. It's like 37 episodes. I've got it pre-ordered. It comes this week. It comes like in 3 or 4 days. And here's the thing. It's $12. $12 for 37 hour-long episodes of TV. Stuff like Starsky and Hutch. Those companies put those DVDs out just to get them out. They didn't sell very well. So they're not done. Like, they're done. They're out of print. Mill Creek steps in and say, hey, well, we'll put this back in print for you. And that's how it happens. I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched. What else do they have? Charlie's Angels. You would think that you'd be able to go online and order Charlie's Angels in like a studio DVD set. But you can't. It's out of print. If you want Charlie's Angels on DVD, you have to go to Mill Creek. So while I understand that some of the criticism is warranted, the paper sleeves, like, I wish that they just spend a little bit more money and we could have hubs. But I know that they have a lot of discs that they're trying to accommodate in the cheapest way possible. But by them keeping costs low, we get the content for a very fair price. It's like, so if you wanted Charlie's Angels and you didn't buy it the first time around, this is your option, right? Like, if you didn't buy the DVD sets when they first came out, this is your option now. You either just watch it on streaming, and when it goes away, or you can pick it up on a Mill Creek set and you can watch the episodes that way. Now, when it comes to DVDs, I have to admit, they compress too much. They put too much stuff on one disc. Like, they'll put 10 episodes of a TV show. It's not necessarily a problem on the Blu-rays. In fact, I don't notice any compression on the Blu-rays. But on the DVD sets, they will put too many episodes of a show onto one disc. So let's just check. Here's the Cosby Show. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 episodes of a TV show on one disc. You really shouldn't do more than about 7, maybe 8. Because if you have to do more than that, you're going to be compressing. So that's not great. That's not preferable. But again, like, these came out on DVD before, and if you want to pay more for them, you can probably track them down. They're like $50 per set, or you could just pick them up this way. I wish they didn't compress things so much, but they do. And that's the option that we're presented with. And I understand why they have to do what they have to do. I understand why they have to put as much on a disc as they can, and why they have to put it in paper sleeves. They're about keeping costs low. And I'm hoping that as they continue to grow, because they are growing. I mean, look, Miami Vice, Nightrider, Airwolf, they got the Rockford Files, which is next on my list that I really want. But I'm hoping that as they grow as a company, that they can start to take a little bit more cost. They can spend a little bit more on the presentation, on the, more discs, fewer episodes per disc, less compression, maybe get away from the paper sleeves. But it works and it sells, and they appeal to, that budget market, which is what it is. It's a budget market. They are a modern day version of a company like Good Times, who puts out, used to be able to go into the dollar store and find Good Times VHSs of movies that probably had a better release somewhere, sometimes, but there wasn't a demand for them. I'm actually a really big fan of this company, and it bothers me when I see people say, you know, like, screw Mill Creek. We deserve better. Well, I don't know what we deserve. That's a weird attitude to have when it comes to stuff that you're buying. Like, we don't, if we deserve it, why don't we get it? Why can't I go get Magnum PI on a American Blu-ray? We deserve it because it was a good show, but that doesn't mean it happens. So I wait for Magnum PI, and I hope that somebody like Mill Creek puts it out. And, you know, I should also say Mill Creek is not the only company that's putting a ton of content on small discs, like 4 movies on 1 DVD. Like, they're not the only people that do that. There are other companies. Shout Factory. As much as people love Shout Factory, they put out some less than stellar releases. I've had a lot of problems with compression, scratched discs straight out of the package from Shout Factory. So I'm not trying to take a dump on one to lift the other one up. I'm just saying, you know, they're all companies. They're all in the business of business. So let's just call it what it is and acknowledge what it is and say that Mill Creek is meeting a demand. And I, for one, appreciate that. So that's really all I have for you guys this week. I would encourage you to go to serialatmidnight.com and check out the content. This week alone, we've put up a piece about the music of Donkey Kong Country, a review of The Legends of Luke Skywalker, the book from the Journey to the Last Jedi, and we opened the Space Lounge, Volume 1 of the Space Lounge, which is a series of exotica music, surf music, just like retro cool music. So head on over to Serial at Midnight and check that out. If you can, hit the like button below. You don't have to smash it. You can just gently tap it. That helps this content get seen by other people. That helps this content get seen by companies like Mill Creek, so they can say, oh, well, here's what's working and here's what's not working. And subscribe. Don't miss a video. Subscribe so that you never have to miss anything from Serial at Midnight. Guys, thank you again for watching. I appreciate your time, and I will catch you later.